Hi everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Bases, and I have a very special guest today, Sam Steed, who's part of the class of BMBL class of 2025 Hall of Fame. Sam, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Whitney.
Yeah, no, it's great. And you're the first member of this class to be on here, so I'll just let you kind of get started by giving your acceptance speech. Since you didn't really get to give one before, I don't think. So, the floor is yours.
Yeah, this obviously at my age, still playing at my age, my kids, my family still putting up with the fact that I'm playing, my girlfriend putting up with the fact that I still leave certain nights and I'm out until 11:30 at night. My teammates, coaches, just everybody who's been involved over the years. It's not it's an individual award, but it's more of a team award and teammate award because you do it by your teammates. You don't get into the Hall of Fame because of your individual stuff. So yeah, I would thank all those people.
Okay, and then of course you're part of or one of I believe five people in the Hall of Fame: Teddy Zuba, Steve Busby, Mike McGuire, and then your teammate Mike Kosopoulos. Who, and if I'm saying his name wrong, I apologize.
Right.
Do you have a favorite memory with any of them, or have you played either against? I mean, obviously Mike Kosopoulos being your teammate, but do you have any sort of memory from any of them, and any story that you want to share about them?
Oh, that's it's funny. I've won a championship with every one of those people. I won a championship with Teddy and Mike playing on the Boston Bombers in the 28 plus, and I've won a title with Steve and Mike Kalfopoulos playing on the Metro Red Sox. More than one title, I think, with Steve and Mike. So yeah, fond memories of winning titles with those. It's funny. I've actually won a title with every one of those guys.
Do you have any championship moment that kind of stands out from any of those titles? Because I mean, it sounds like you have a lot to choose from. But if there's one that kind of stands out, what would it be?
Um, there was so many of the titles that were won like early back in the day with the Red Sox, like like how the Bulls are now, the Metro Red Sox were back, 10, 12 years ago. Now we've kind of aged out and we've kind of transitioned into, you know, um, newer players, different players, trying to fill the holes of some of those veterans that won, six, seven, eight, nine, 10 titles. And Danny Field's done a pretty good job of getting guys to come over and we need some arms, and he said he got a few arms this year, and that's what arms and defense is what wins in old man baseball. That's what you definitely need pitching, and you definitely need decent defense.
Yeah, and just out of curiosity, how did you get started with the BMBL or just Boston baseball in general? And what's kept you going this far? Because I mean, you have a pretty decorated career, which we'll get to in a second. But if you have an origin story for how you got started, feel free to share it.
Just playing in the Intercity League and those guys, a lot of the guys that played in the Intercity League and got a little bit older, typically that would be the next step. They would go to the 28 plus, and then there was the 38 plus, and when I was starting to age out a little bit in the Intercity League, I was in my mid to late 40s, and there was only a few innings here and there at that point, which was fine. I mean, I understand completely, but I still enjoyed playing the game, and like guys like Alex Maisel and Mike Kalfopoulos and Russ Ward and Mike Moise, those guys that were playing on the Red Sox, they were like, it's time, come over and play with us. It's Monday nights. The Intercity League was 3 nights a week, and I would go to the games because I like going to the games. So, but age caught up to me a little bit, and it was time to move on to the next chapter, and that's where it was. It was in the BMBO, and been there ever since.
Yeah, then speaking of your statistics, you lead the 38 division all time in wins with 47, games pitched with 98, innings pitched with 420 over 429, and then strikeouts 446 or 464, sorry. How do you describe your approach on the mound and how did it lead to all that success? Because obviously that's a pretty impressive list of statistics. So how do you describe your approach on the mound?
Just, I mean, again, it comes back to having, great teammates and good defense. Throwing strikes, not trying not to, walk too many guys and put yourself in a situation where you could give up runs that they really didn't earn because, you gave them a free base. And my philosophy is just, throw strikes and surround yourself with some good ball players that are going to make the plays when they hit to them. And that's basically what I've been trying to do most of my career. I'm not, the strikeout per inning and all that stuff. I'm not really a strikeout guy. I mean, I'm more of a hit your spots, and try to get them to get themselves out. And, occasionally they swing at pitches that aren't strikes and, there you have it. But, good defense. It's any pitcher will tell you that they're only as good as their defense.
And for those who don't know you, do you have a kind of a go-to pitch that is really effective, and what is it and why?
I wish I did, but again, it's more of just at my age now. It's never been an overpowering pitcher, but now it's just more of trying to get them to hit a pitch that they don't really want to swing at, but they have to swing at, and hope that again your defense picks you up and and makes the play behind you because you know I don't strike guys out anymore. I pitch the contact and hope that I can stay in the game as long as I can and give my team a chance to win.
Yeah, and then of course you also got inducted into the National Semi-Professional Baseball Hall of Fame in 2020. So what did that mean to you as well, on top of this one?
That was kind of a surprise. I didn't really even know that that was happening around this area. Like people from around here, it was always just like local Hall of Fames, local league Hall of Fames or you know but I got a phone call from um Mike Powers asking me if you're going to the banquet this year. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to come by with my girlfriend. He's like, oh, good. And he didn't tell me why. And then they told me when I got there and it was pretty cool. I mean, I didn't even know they had it. And obviously somebody thought, you know, good enough of me to nominate me because I think that's how you have to, get at least get them to take a look at you. So, it was definitely a pleasant surprise.
Now, one of the teammates that I think kind of jumps out from all the statistics I was reading, especially about the Metro Red Sox, is John Barber, who led your team in RBIs in the regular season with 16. Describe his importance not only to you on the mound, but just to your team in general, because obviously you've talked about how it's not just a one person, one person doesn't win games for you, and obviously that's especially true in baseball. But having a teammate like that, why is he so important to your team, or
Yeah.
was important to your team?
John probably won a couple games for us last year with his bat and his defense. He's right there in the middle of the lineup, right there and smack dab in the heart of the lineup. And, we got guys getting on base for him, and he's uh, he's been doing a good job of driving those runners in. And hopefully we can get a few more guys on for him in front of him. But he also does it out there. He plays right field for me, and I tell him before the games, I said, left-handed pitcher, my ball tails away a little bit. Righties who try to pull the ball, balls are going to be coming to you. Be ready. He gets 4 or 5 balls hit to him every game I pitch, and he makes the plays for me. So you gotta love him. Yeah, I think I might have been on maybe 4 or 5 Blue Sox championships. But like one of my earlier fond memories was probably the first year, I think maybe the first or second year when I was still pitching 40, 50 innings for them. I did pitch a game 7 and we did win the game 7-1. Obviously, everybody played great in that game. And it was against a really tough Castell club team who finished in first place that year. So that would probably be one of the ones that, really stuck out and one of the last really like big games in the Intercity League that I pitched in.
Okay, and then with all the success that you've had, do you have a favorite pregame routine or meal or something that kind of gets you going once or helps you get going before, you go out and pitch?
Meal? No, not really. But pregame routine, yeah, definitely. It's like always, you know, depending on where you're playing in the park, checking your navigation, wanting to get there at the same time. I have a pregame routine that I've been doing since college, and it's arriving at the field at a certain time, doing certain stretches, getting ready at a certain time, starting my stretching routine, starting my long toss routine, getting my catcher down into the bullpen, getting ready. If you're the home team, I want to be able to sit a little bit before we have to go out because I'd be pitching first. If we're the visiting team, I want to get done just as the game's starting so that I can go have like it sitting in between innings. So those are routines that I've been doing and stretching routines, similar to everything since college. So yeah, check the navigation, make sure there's no accidents, that I can arrive at the right time, get there, and just pregame routine, same as I've been doing since I was 18 years old, and they showed me what to do in at Tampa.
From your college days, who did you play? What college did you play for? And do you have anything that you learned from that you kind of took into the BMBL and obviously the Intercity League as well? And yeah, how did you apply it to your performances in either of those leagues?
Yeah, I went to the University of Tampa, graduated. Um, our team won national championship, 1992, Division II national championship. Very good team. They ended up repeating again in 1993, but um, my pitching coach was a AAA player for the California Angels. He did have some time up in the big leagues, but he had multiple years at AAA level. He was a lefty, which helped because I'm a lefty. So, um, gave me a lot of advice, told me certain things that I should be doing, size, build. I mean, I'm 5'10", 5'9 3/4, 170 pounds now, 185, maybe a little heavy for what I should be, but you know, my body build, my arm action, things of that nature, where he told me, you got to get better at this. You have to do a little bit at that. Designed a weightlifting program, designed not necessarily for bulk, but obviously for strength, being a pitcher. Gave me the greatest advice that I still use today and that I give to my kids that I coach in high school now is, long toss, push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups. I mean, those are the things that, using your natural body and not adding any weights to any type of ligaments or tendons to potentially cause damage, and, you know, just do those things and you can pitch for a long time if you want to. And it's worked for me.
And then, what's the best postseason performance you've ever witnessed, either from one of your teammates or opponent, or both, if you
Yeah.
have any?
God, there's been so many. I mean, there's guys that have gone 5 for 5 in big games. I mean, there's games that, someone's made a diving play in the outfield to say, I mean, there's just been so many, not any like dominating performances by a pitcher. Yeah, I probably could find one. But I mean, it's been so long since I've won a championship because it's been a while since the Metro Red Sox have, we've won 10 titles, but the last one was a while ago. There's a new king in town that everybody's trying to knock off in the Bulls, and they're the ones that everybody's aiming for now. And playoff performances. I mean, I've seen some guys pitch one and two hitters and just completely baffle guys and keep them off balance and ground ball after ground ball. And and you just see some guys that'll make great defensive plays. It's just trying to pull one name or one specific game. It's pretty tough because there's been a lot. I mean, I've between those titles and intercity league titles and playing in away tournaments and those winter tournaments and things like that. There's so many great games that I've been involved with.
Yeah, and then of course the league has had a lot, and I'm sure the Intercity League too has a lot of different performances every year. There's always someone making, either a memorable pitching performance, whether it was, I believe, in the 28 plus 12 inning battle between Mike Smith and oh, I can't remember the name right now. Brock Riley. Sorry, Brock. They had a 12 inning duel, and I think Brock almost pitched 12 innings. So something like that. It's like you see something new every year, and I'm sure you've seen that across your career too.
Yeah, and I mean, I've morphed into umpiring now. So I umpire in the 28s and I umpire in the 18 plus. So I've been behind the plate and I've been out in the field seeing those guys pitch. And it's I sit there and I say, wow, I can't do that anymore. And it's like these guys are, still slinging it and they're turning double plays and they're throwing pitches that I've been like, it's like, oh. I wish I had a curveball. I used to have a curveball like that. Right? So those guys in the 28 league, the 28 plus league, they certainly bring it. And there's a lot of good competition in that league. There's no teams that you look at on the schedule, it's like easy W, or I mean, there's some really good competition in that league, and I enjoy umpiring in it. I enjoy a good game. I mean, I have I enjoy being behind the plate. I think most umpires enjoy being behind the plate. It gives you a feel, a sense of um, keeping the game moving and um, being more involved in the action than just possibly just being on the bases. But um, I enjoy being behind the plate. I mean, as a pitcher, I got a good feel for the strike zone. Um, it's not anywhere where you got guys going, oh my God, but it's a good strike zone. It keeps the guys moving and keeps the guys in the game and keeps the starting pitchers in the game a little bit longer, and which makes for pretty good games in the end.
Yeah, I think definitely I mean, we have new talent, it seems like, coming in, or new divisions coming in 2026 to the BMBL, two new divisions specifically. What are your thoughts on the league expanding the way it is, and how will it help grow the league? Because obviously it brings more competition, it seems like, but what else does it bring, or in your opinion, what do you see coming next for the league?
Well, I mean, the league, the one of the new divisions that's coming in, the 45 plus division. I've played in that league probably for the last 3 or 4 years, when it was associated with a different league. Um, the talent in that 45 division has grown immensely over the last 2 or 3 years with the addition of a couple new teams. You're also getting guys who still love the game and want to play. And most of the games are Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock. So you're done by 12:30 and you're home with your family or whatever. By 1, you still have the rest of your Sunday morning. But the competition in that league over the last few years has really grown. And you're starting to see some of the guys in the 38s come up and play in the 45s now. So I think that's going to help to expand that as well. And although they're not doing it this year in hopes that hopefully they do it next year, is that they would have a 52 plus division. So they had some teams already in that other league, but they just weren't ready to I don't think they were ready to make that commitment to jump in with the 52s. But I'm hoping because, baseball around here, there's a lot of good baseball around here, and there's a lot of talent. I mean, there's a lot of good guys that still play the 18s, the 28s, the 38s, and I think as long as there's good quality baseball for them to play, they'll keep playing, and yeah, it's good baseball, that 45.
Yeah, and I mean, between, obviously the season and then all the tournaments that happen around it, the 100 innings. I mean, there's a lot of great competition, and I'm sure you see that. I don't know if you're a part of any other tournaments or anything around it, but or if you were in the past. If you were, do you have any memories of that, or anything you want to talk about? Whether it's the 100 innings, whether it's the Cape Cod Classic. I mean, there's so much baseball during
Oh
this
yeah.
year. I'm sure you've seen either teammates that are part of it, but I don't know if you were a part of it too.
Yeah, well, I've probably, I don't know, last 6, 7, 8 years I've umpired in the 100 inning game, excuse me, for Walter. But I haven't played in it yet, but I've always umpired in it. So maybe one of these years, maybe this year I'll turn around and I'll play in it. But I've done the Cape Cod Classic. Didn't pitch too well in it last year, so I don't know if I'll get invited back for this year. But I've played in, I play in some tournaments in the winter time. I mean, me and Russ Ward and Stevie Bissett, we hit all winter and we throw all winter in indoor cage. And we play in some tournaments down in Florida in January and February and March. I'm going to West Palm and to play in the Stars and Stripes tournament down in West Palm, Florida over Memorial Day weekend. Um, so yeah, I do, weekend tournaments, Friday through Monday, those type of tournaments. You fly in on a Thursday, you fly out Monday afternoon. I like those. The week-long tournaments are tough. Taking a week off of work is tough, but I guess with the right team or tournament, I guess anybody finagle themselves a week off of work.
And of course, the Metro Red Sox have won the most division titles with 10, as we talked about earlier, or you might have mentioned. How fun is it playing for a team that has had that much success? And how confident are you in them adding a title in 2026? Number 11, it would be.
Yeah. Well, we've been chasing number 11 for a while now. So, we need to get a little bit deeper at certain positions. We need some pitching. We need some depth at pitching. Just like any league, you can do fine on a Monday night throughout the whole season with, one, two, maybe three guys. But when you get into the playoffs and you're playing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and you need guys and you need depth, and those that have depth win. And that's pretty much why the Bulls have won the titles in, the last, I don't know, 3 out of 4 years or whatever it might have been. They have depth at every position and quality depth at every, you take one guy out and you replace him with another guy, there's not really a drop off. Same thing with pitching, catching, they're a pretty solid team. And they're the team that the Metro Red Sox were back when I first started playing. Whereas, like, veteran guys still love the game, play the game hard. You win titles. You pitch, throw strikes, play good defense. You win the titles. And yeah, they're the team to beat.
And then for yourself personally, what are your plans for playing, Boston baseball at the amateur level in 2026 and beyond? Do you have any plans to stop anytime soon, or can we see you potentially playing for a long time after? And what kind of determines that?
Well, I'm probably going to be. I'll get playoff eligible if we make the playoffs for the 38s. But mainly now, probably this will be my last year playing in the 38s. I mean, I'm 57 years old. Um, I'll probably just, play in the 47, 45s and in hopes that, the BNBL brings in the 52 plus league like they were possibly talking about, which would then, allow for me to play, every other Sunday or every Sunday, but mostly gonna play. I'll get my 8 games in, try to get myself playoff eligible for the Metro team and play on the 45s. But I've been coaching on the Blue Sox. I coached the Blue Sox last summer, so that takes up a lot of my, my summertime, commitment to them. So yeah, that'll be it. This will probably be my last year in the 38s and do 45s and hopefully 52s and some coaching.
All right. Well, it sounds like you have a, busy future ahead of you. Even if this is your last season in 38, it sounds like you're gonna keep going until maybe your body tells you not to, or I mean, not trying to put words in your mouth, but there could be a lot of reasons that you stop at some point. But it sounds like maybe you don't know yet, and that's okay too, because it just makes whatever comes next more entertaining, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I say it, people ask me all the time, "You still pitching?" If I see somebody I haven't seen in a while, it's like, yeah, so, the shoulder's good, the elbow's good, the back's good. Knock on wood. As long as somebody wants me to play on their team and my shoulder's in pretty good shape, and I still have the itch to play and compete. I don't want to go out there and get my butt kicked. I can throw strikes and let guys hit all over the ballpark, but I still want to go out there, compete, and try to win. And if, as long as there's a team that wants me and the body feels good, I'll keep playing for a little bit. But
Oh, oh, go ahead.
playing at a more of an age appropriate level than guys that are 20 years younger than me.
No, that makes sense. And yeah, I just kind of want to leave with this last final question. For anyone who's watching, why should fans, either watching this channel or watching this episode, or anyone out there come watch BMBL games, Intercity League games, or any of the other leagues around? Because there's a lot of great stories, and obviously there'll be more told on this channel as well. But why should people come watch games in person? Not only playoff games, but regular season games, like whenever they're able to.
Um, Because these guys that come to play on a Thursday night or a Monday night or a Tuesday or whatever night that they're playing at 8 o'clock or 8:30 at Trump, they're out there because they want to play and they're going to give it 100% when they're out there. And it's pretty good baseball. I mean, the guys are throwing strikes, the hitters are putting the ball in play, guys are diving if they have a chance to make a diving play, and it's actually pretty good competitive baseball. And if you like the game of baseball and the weather's decent, you can always find a game in the MSBL with all the fields that are around, between around Somerville to Melrose to Lexington to getting into some of the outskirts of Boston. There's games to find, and there are guys out there giving it 100%, and it's good baseball.